The rain hammered against the windshield as Marcus Chen pulled into the grocery store parking lot. His daughter Lily sat in the passenger seat, her nose buried in a book about ocean explorers. At 12 years old, she'd inherited her late mother's curiosity and her father's stubbornness. "Dad, can we hurry? I want to finish this chapter before dinner." Marcus smiled. "5 minutes, kiddo. We just need milk and eggs." As they stepped out of the car, the November wind cut through their jackets. Marcus was reaching for a shopping cart when Lily's hand suddenly gripped his arm. "Dad, look!" Near the store entrance, barely visible under the flickering overhead light, sat a boy. He couldn't have been more than 14, maybe 15. His thin frame was hunched over, arms wrapped around his knees. A cardboard sign rested against his legs. "Need help. Hungry. Anything appreciated." Marcus felt that familiar tug in his chest, the one that had been his constant companion since Elena died 3 years ago. The grief counselor had called it hypervigilance to suffering. He called it being unable to look away. "Dad, he's our age." Lily's voice cracked slightly. "Well, close to it." The parking lot was busy. People streamed past the boy like water around a stone. Some glanced, most didn't. A few dropped coins into the small cup beside him, barely breaking stride. Nobody stopped. Nobody asked his name. "Wait here," Marcus said. But Lily was already following him. As they approached, the boy's head lifted. His eyes were old, too old for his face. Dark circles beneath them told stories Marcus recognized from his work at the community center. This wasn't temporary homelessness. This was chronic, grinding poverty that ate away at childhood one day at a time. "Hey there," Marcus said gently, crouching down. "I'm Marcus. This is my daughter, Lily." The boy's eyes darted between them, calculating risk, measuring threat. "I'm not panhandling. I'm just sitting here." "I know," Marcus said. "What's your name?" A pause. Then, quietly, "Daniel." "Daniel," Marcus repeated. "When did you last eat?" Daniel's jaw clenched. Pride and hunger fought a visible battle across his face. "Yesterday, maybe. I don't remember." Lily knelt beside her father. "We're going to buy groceries. Will you let us get you something?" "I don't need charity," Daniel said, but his voice lacked conviction. "It's not charity," Lily said with the earnest directness only 12-year-olds possess. "It's just people helping people. That's what Mom always said. She said we're all connected, like coral reefs. If one part dies, the whole thing gets weaker." Daniel looked at her, really looked at her. "Your mom sounds smart." "She was," Lily said simply. "She died when I was 9. Something shifted in Daniel's expression. Recognition, perhaps. The understanding that comes when one wounded soul sees another. "I'm sorry," he said, and meant it. "Daniel," Marcus said, "I work at the Riverside Community Center. We have hot meals, shower facilities, and counselors. Will you at least let me give you the address?" "I know where it is," Daniel said. "I've been there. They ask too many questions." Questions like what? Like where are your parents? Like why aren't you in school? Like what's your real situation? Daniel's voice hardened. "And then they call social services, and social services calls my uncle, and my uncle." He stopped abruptly. Marcus's social worker instincts, honed by 15 years of experience, kicked in. "Your uncle what, Daniel?" "Nothing. Forget it." "Daniel, if you're in danger." "I said forget it." Daniel grabbed his sign, started to stand. "Thanks for the concern, but I'm fine." "You're not fine," Lily said. Her voice wasn't accusatory, just factual. "You're sitting in the rain with no jacket and you haven't eaten in a day. That's not fine." Daniel stared at her, and something in his face crumbled. Just for a second, the walls came down, and Marcus saw the scared kid underneath the survival armor. "I can't go back," Daniel whispered. "If I go back there, I don't know what I'll do." Marcus made a decision that would change everything. "Then don't go back." Come with us. Daniel's eyes widened. What? Come to our house. Have a hot meal, take a shower, sleep in a real bed. Tomorrow we'll figure out next steps. But tonight you don't sleep in the rain. You don't even know me. I could be dangerous. I could. You could be a kid who needs help, Marcus interrupted. And we can provide it. That's all that matters right now. Daniel looked between them, searching for the catch, the hidden angle. Why would you do this? Lily stood up, offered her hand. Because Mom taught us that the unthinkable thing isn't helping a stranger. The unthinkable thing is walking past someone who needs help and pretending you didn't see them. Daniel stared at her outstretched hand for what felt like an eternity. Then slowly he took it. The drive home was quiet. Daniel sat in the back seat, his few possessions clutched in a torn backpack. Some clothes, a battered notebook, a photo he kept face down. He stared out the window like he was memorizing the route, planning escape options. We live about 15 minutes from here, Marcus said, trying to ease the tension. Nothing fancy, but it's warm and dry. Do you have other kids? Daniel asked. Just Lily. It's been the two of us since Elena died. Cancer, Lily added from the passenger seat. Stage 4 pancreatic. She fought for 18 months. But she trailed off. I'm sorry, Daniel said again, and Marcus noticed how freely this kid apologized. Like he'd been trained to take responsibility for things beyond his control. What about you? Marcus asked carefully. You mentioned an uncle? Daniel's whole body tensed. Yeah, my dad's brother. He took me in after my parents died in a car accident 2 years ago. He didn't want to, but I guess he felt obligated. Family duty or whatever. And it's not good there? Daniel laughed. A sharp, bitter sound. He drinks. Gets mean when he drinks. I'm supposed to be grateful he took me in, so I don't complain. But lately it's gotten worse. Last week Daniel touched his ribs unconsciously. It doesn't matter. I left. Been on the streets about a week now. Marcus's hands tightened on the steering wheel. Daniel, what you're describing is abuse. We need to report this. No! Daniel's voice cracked with panic. If you report it, they'll send me back. Or worse, they'll put me in the system. Foster care is a nightmare. I've heard the stories. Not all foster situations are bad, Marcus said gently. Enough of them are. I'd rather take my chances on the street. They pulled into the driveway of a modest 2-story house. Warm light glowed from the windows. In the front yard, wind chimes sang in the November breeze. Daniel hesitated at the car door. I can still leave. You don't have to do this. We know, Lily said, but we want to. Come on. I'll show you the guest room. Inside, Daniel stood in the entryway like a statue, afraid to touch anything. The house smelled like cinnamon and old books. Family photos lined the hallway. Marcus and Elena on their wedding day. Lily as a baby, beach vacations and birthday parties. A life well lived, well loved. Bathrooms upstairs, first door on the right, Marcus said. Fresh towels in the cabinet. Take your time with the shower. Lily and I will start dinner. Daniel nodded, still not quite believing this was real. He climbed the stairs slowly, testing each step like it might disappear beneath him. The shower was the first hot water he'd felt in a week. He stood under the spray until his skin turned pink, watching dirt and despair circle the drain. On the counter, someone had laid out new toothbrush, soap, shampoo. Small kindnesses that felt massive. When he finally emerged, dressed in clean clothes Marcus had left outside the door, he found them in the kitchen. Lily was setting the table while Marcus stirred something on the stove that smelled incredible. Spaghetti okay? Marcus asked. It's Lily's favorite. Mom's recipe, Lily added. She was Italian. Well, half Italian. But she took it very seriously. They sat down to eat, and Daniel couldn't remember the last time he'd shared a meal at a table with other people. In his uncle's house, he'd eaten standing up in the kitchen, quickly, before his uncle came home drunk and decided Daniel was eating too much. "So Daniel," Lily said, twirling pasta on her fork, "what grade are you in? Or were you in, I guess, before?" "Ninth. Was supposed to be a sophomore this year, but I got held back after my parents died. Couldn't focus on school." "What was your favorite subject?" Marcus asked. Daniel paused. Nobody had asked him about school in months. Nobody had asked what he liked or wanted or dreamed about. "History. I know it sounds boring, but I liked learning about how things used to be, how people survived hard times before." "That's not boring," Lily said. "That's practical. You're basically studying survival strategies." Daniel smiled, just a little. "I guess so." After dinner, Marcus showed Daniel to the guest room. It was small but comfortable. A bed with clean sheets, a desk, a window overlooking the backyard. "This is too much," Daniel said quietly. "It's a bed and a room. That's the minimum of what every kid deserves. But I'm not your kid. You don't owe me anything." Marcus sat on the edge of the bed, gestured for Daniel to join him. "When Elena got sick, we were scared, terrified, but people showed up. Neighbors brought meals. Friends drove Lily to school. Strangers donated to her treatment fund. We survived because people chose to help, even when they didn't have to." He pulled out his wallet, showed Daniel a worn photo. Elena in a hospital bed, bald from chemo, smiling with Lily curled up beside her. "A week before this picture was taken, Elena told me something. She said, 'Marcus, we can't waste our lives being afraid of each other. We have to choose connection over fear every single time. That's how we stay human.'" Daniel stared at the photo. "She looks happy. Even sick, she looks happy." She was, because she was surrounded by love. And she made me promise that after she was gone, I'd keep choosing connection. I'd keep seeing people who needed help and actually helping them. "Is that why you work at the community center?" "Partly, but also because it's the right thing to do. Just like bringing you here tonight is the right thing to do." Daniel's eyes filled with tears he'd been holding back for who knows how long. "What if I'm not worth helping?" Marcus put a hand on Daniel's shoulder. "That's not a question that needs answering. You're human. That's enough." That night, for the first time in a week, Daniel slept in a real bed. He woke once, panicked, thinking he'd dreamed the whole thing. But the sheets were real. The soft pillow was real. The silence, unbroken by sirens or shouting, was real. He found the notebook in his backpack, opened it to a fresh page, and wrote by moonlight, "Day 1 of whatever this is. They helped me. I don't know why. I don't know what happens next. But tonight, I'm warm and fed and safe. Tonight is enough." Morning came with the smell of pancakes. Daniel descended the stairs cautiously, still half expecting someone to yell at him for existing. Instead, he found Lily at the table doing homework and Marcus at the stove, spatula in hand. "Morning," Marcus said cheerfully. "How'd you sleep?" "Better than I have in months," Daniel admitted. "Good. Sit. Eat. Then we need to talk about next steps." Over breakfast, Marcus laid out the options. "We need to report your situation to the authorities. I know you're scared, but living on the streets isn't sustainable, and going back to your uncle isn't safe." "What if they separate us?" Daniel blurted, then looked shocked at his own words. "I mean, what if they don't let me stay here?" "Well," Marcus said slowly, "that depends on a lot of factors, but I'm a licensed foster parent. I got certified after Elena died, thinking I might provide respite care someday. So legally, I could petition to have you placed with us." "You'd do that? For someone you just met?" Lily looked up from her homework. "You're not just someone. You're Daniel. You like history and you say sorry too much and you're scared but trying not to show it. That's not just someone. That's a person." Daniel blinked hard. "I don't understand why you're being so nice." "Because someone has to be," Marcus said simply. Because you deserve it. Because it's right. The process was complicated. Social services got involved. There were interviews, home visits, background checks. Daniel's uncle was investigated and, after neighbors came forward with stories of yelling and breaking glass, lost custody entirely. He was arrested for child endangerment and assault. Daniel spent a week in emergency foster care while the paperwork was processed. It was a decent home, but he felt displaced, temporary. He called Marcus every night. "I'm scared they won't let me come back," Daniel admitted on the fourth call. "They will," Marcus promised. "I'm doing everything right. We're going to get through this. What if I mess it up? What if I'm too damaged?" "Daniel, listen to me. You're not damaged. You're healing. There's a difference." When the placement was approved, Daniel stood in Marcus's living room with a social worker, a small suitcase of belongings, and hope that felt fragile as glass. "This is a trial placement," the social worker explained. 6 months. If things go well, we can discuss long-term options, including adoption. Adoption. The word hung in the air like a promise. Lily appeared at the top of the stairs. "Daniel, your room's ready. I helped Dad paint it. We picked blue because that's your favorite color, right?" Daniel had mentioned it once in passing during a conversation about nothing important. She'd remembered. "Yeah," he said, voice thick. "Blue's good." The first months were an adjustment. Daniel had nightmares. He hoarded food in his room, unable to believe there would always be more. He flinched at sudden movements, apologized constantly, but slowly, gradually, he healed. Marcus took him to therapy. A woman named Dr. Rodriguez who specialized in trauma. She taught Daniel that his reactions were normal, that healing wasn't linear, that setbacks didn't mean failure. Lily appointed herself his sister with all the fierce protectiveness that implied. When kids at school whispered about the foster kid, she shut them down. When Daniel struggled with algebra, she stayed up late helping him study. When he forgot his lunch, she shared hers without comment. One evening, about 4 months in, Daniel found Marcus in the study, looking at old photos of Elena. "Do you still miss her?" Daniel asked. "Every day," Marcus said. "But it's different now. The grief isn't as sharp. It's more like, she's part of everything we do. The way we help people, the way we show up for each other. That's all her." Daniel sat down beside him. "She'd like what you're doing, taking me in." "She'd love you," Marcus corrected. "She always wanted more kids. We tried for years after Lily, but it never happened. She used to say maybe we were meant to grow our family differently." "Do you think she knew that you'd end up doing this?" Marcus smiled. "Elena had a way of knowing things, but I think she just trusted that we'd make the right choices when the time came." "Marcus," Daniel said, then stopped. Started again. Would it be okay if I called you Dad? Not to replace my real dad, but because you—" He struggled for words. Marcus's eyes shone with tears. "I would be honored. And Elena, can I call her Mom? Even though she's gone. Is that weird?" "Not weird at all. She'd be proud to be your mom." The adoption was finalized on a Tuesday in April. Nothing dramatic, just a judge's signature on legal documents. But everything changed. Daniel Martinez became Daniel Chen. A new birth certificate, a new future. Walking out of the courthouse, Lily grabbed his hand. "Now you're stuck with us forever. No takebacks." "Good," Daniel said. "I don't want any." That night they had a party. Just the 3 of them, pizza and cake and terrible movies. Halfway through the second film, Daniel fell asleep on the couch, his head on Marcus's shoulder. "Dad," Lily whispered, "are we going to help more kids? Like Daniel?" Marcus looked at his 2 children, one by birth, one by choice, both equally his. "Maybe, if the right situation comes along." "Good, because Mom was right. We're stronger together." Daniel thrived. He graduated high school with honors, got into college on a full scholarship. He studied social work, following in Marcus's footsteps. On the night before he left for university, the three of them sat in the backyard watching stars. "I've been thinking," Daniel said, "about that night we met, about how many people walked past me." "Yeah," Marcus prompted. "I don't blame them. Not really. It's easy to look away. Looking is hard. Helping is harder. But worth it," Lily added. She was 16 now, already volunteering at the community center. "Definitely worth it." Daniel pulled something from his pocket. The old photo he'd kept in his backpack, face down, all those years ago. He showed them. A younger Daniel between two smiling adults. His parents before the accident. "They were good people," he said quietly. "They taught me kindness matters. When they died, I forgot that for a while. Forgot it was possible. But you reminded me. They raised a good son," Marcus said. "We just helped him remember who he was." "No," Daniel said. "You saved my life. Let's be honest about that. If you hadn't stopped, if you'd walked past like everyone else, I don't know where I'd be right now." "You saved us too," Lily said. "After Mom died, we were just going through the motions. You gave us purpose again. Made us a real family." They sat in comfortable silence, watching the stars, each thinking about the strange paths that had brought them together. Years later, Daniel would stand at his own wedding, introducing his parents, Marcus and Lily Chen. He'd tell the story of how they met, how a rainy November evening changed everything. People would say it was unthinkable, taking in a stranger's child like that. Marcus always disagreed. "The unthinkable thing," he'd say, "would have been walking past. The unthinkable thing is seeing suffering and choosing to do nothing." Because that's what Elena had taught him. That's what he'd taught Daniel and Lily. That's what Daniel would someday teach his own children. Love multiplies. Connection heals. And sometimes the family you choose is stronger than the family you're born into. Not because blood doesn't matter, but because choice does. On Christmas Eve, the Chen family had a tradition. They'd volunteer at the Riverside Community Center, serving meals to homeless teens. Daniel would walk through the dining hall, sit with the kids others avoided, and ask their names. Always their names. Because being seen, being known, that was the first step toward healing. One year, a girl with haunted eyes and defensive posture reminded him of himself at 14. Her name was Sophia. She'd been on the streets for 3 weeks. Daniel sat beside her. "I'm Daniel. I work here, but I used to be where you are." She looked at him skeptically. "Yeah, right?" He showed her the photo from his wallet. Teenage Daniel with Marcus and Lily, before the adoption. Thin, scared, uncertain. "I sat outside a grocery store in the rain," he told her. "A man and his daughter stopped. They didn't just give me food. They gave me a home. Changed my life." "That doesn't happen in real life," Sophia said. "It did happen. It is happening. Right now. If you'll let us help you." Sophia studied him for a long moment. Then, quietly, "What do I have to do?" "Just trust us. One day at a time." Marcus appeared beside them, Lily right behind him. They'd been doing this long enough to read Daniel's signals. This girl needed help. Real help. "Sophia," Marcus said gently, "how would you feel about coming home with us tonight? Hot meal, warm bed, no strings attached. Tomorrow we figure out next steps." Sophia looked between the three of them, saw something that made her walls crack just a little. "Okay," she whispered. "Okay." As they walked to the car, Sophia asked the question Daniel had asked all those years ago. "Why would you do this? You don't even know me." Lily smiled, the same smile her mother had passed down to her. "Because someone has to, and because you deserve it. That's all that matters." Daniel put a hand on Sophia's shoulder. "The unthinkable thing isn't helping a stranger. The unthinkable thing is having the power to help and choosing not to." And so the cycle continued. One family growing, expanding, making room. One life saved that would go on to save others. Because Marcus had been right all along. Elena's legacy wasn't just in the family she'd created, but in the philosophy she'd passed down. Choose connection over fear. Choose action over apathy. Choose love always and completely. The unthinkable was just another word for love in action. And love, real love, never walked past.